Now at how we solve equations when we've got brackets. So we've got to remember how we do the expansion. So let me just do a little reminder of if I had, say, 2 bracket x plus 5 that I wanted to expand. The key there is that I'm going to multiply this by every piece inside of it. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 times x, then I'm going to do plus, because that's the sign in the middle, and then I'm going to go back to here and do 2 times 5. And that becomes a simplified version of 2x plus 10. Essentially, it's like saying if I go down to McDonald's and I ask for a combo, in that combo I'm going to get a burger, and I'm going to get fries, and I'm going to get a drink. So when if I was going to get 2 combos, that means I'm going to get 2 burgers, plus I'm going to get 2 fries, plus I'm going to get 2 drinks. Okay, so that's essentially what we're doing, is we're just saying, well, the combo is made up of a burger and fries and drinks, and if I'm getting 2 lots of that, then I get 2 lots of everything inside of it. So that's the idea behind expansion. So let's have a look now if we want to solve some equations with a bracket in it. So, number 1, 4 bracket 3x take away 1 equals 5 bracket 2 plus x. Okay, so I've got 2 sets of brackets. So I need to multiply this 4 by both pieces inside the brackets there, and this 5 needs to be multiplied by both pieces inside its brackets. So first of all, we're going to do 4 times 3x, and then I've got a minus sign, and then I'm going to go back to here and do 4 times 1. Got my equals. Now this 5, I'm going to do 5 times 2. There's my plus inside the bracket as the next sign, and then I'm going to go back and do 5 times x. So now I just want to tidy this up. So let's first of all look at the numbers here. 4 times 3, well, that's going to give me a 12, and then I've got an x following it, minus 4 times 1 is 4, equals, now 5 times 2 gives us 10, plus 5 times x gives me 5x. Okay, so now we're at the stage where we were in our last example, and what we want to do now is we want to collect all the x's onto the left hand side and all the numbers onto the right hand side. So the 12x is already on the left, so that's going to stay, but the minus 4 is a number, so we want to move that to the other side of the equal sign. The 10 is already on the right hand side, so that's fine, and this positive 5x, I want to move that back to the other side to get all the x's on the left. So my 12x is going to stay as it is. This plus 5x, if it was plus 5x on one side, when I move it across the equals, it's going to change to a minus 5x, because minus is the opposite of plus. Equals, now my 10 is going to stay where it is, and this minus 4 is going to move across the equals, so that's going to move across, and the opposite of subtracting is adding, so I'm going to say plus 4. Now I can simplify. So 12 lots of x minus 5 lots of x gives me 7 lots of x, and 10 plus 4 gives me 14. I've got one last step to do. I want to get the x by itself, because that's what we're trying to do when we solve, is get x by itself. So I want to get rid of the 7. So when I write 7x, that means 7 times x. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. And what I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So 7 divided by 7 cancels to leave us with 1. So that gives me an x. And 14 divided by 7 is 2. So there is example number 1. Now let's have a look at a second example and go through this again. So 9 bracket 3 minus x is equal to 4 bracket 7 minus x minus 2 bracket x plus 1. Okay, so now we've got a whole bunch of brackets more that we need to expand. So that's going to be our first step, is we're going to take that 9 and multiply that by both of the pieces inside. This 4 is going to be multiplied by both of the pieces inside it, and this minus 2, because remember this the subtraction sign belongs with the number that comes after it. So minus 2 is going to be multiplied by both of the pieces inside of it. Okay, so let's do one bit at a time. So 9 times 3 is our first one. And then I've got a subtraction. I'm going to go back and do 9 times x. Then I've got my equals. Now I'm going to do this bracket here and expand this. So I've got 4 times 7 minus, I'm going to go back and do 4 times x. Now I've got this next one, and remember it's minus 2, so it's negative 2 times x. And then I'm going to go, then I've got a plus there, because that's my plus. And now I'm going to go back here and I've got negative 2 times 1. Okay, so that's expanding them all out. Now what I want to do is simplify that. Okay, and then I'll worry about collecting all the terms together. So 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times x is just going to be minus 9x. 4 times 7 is 28. Minus 4 times x is going to be minus 4x. Minus 2 times x gives me minus 2x. Now here I've got plus negative 2 times 1. So plus and negative, when I combine those two together, that's going to give me a subtraction. So that's going to be minus 2 times 1, which is 2. And the reason we know that, I'll just do a little reminder, if I have positive times a positive, then that's going to give me a positive. If I have positive times a negative, then that gives me a negative. Negative times positive is negative, and negative times negative is a positive. Okay, so if I'm multiplying positives and negatives together, that's the little thing I need to remember. Okay, so now we can do some combining together and simplifying. So I'm going to, this side here is a bit messy, so I'm going to combine all of that together first. So I'm going to leave my 27 take away 9x equals alone. I've got 28 take away 2, so I combine that together. 28 take away 2 is 26. And you notice I'm keeping that negative there with that 2. Okay. Then I've got a minus 4x minus a 2x. So minus 4 lots of x and take away another 2 lots of x gives me minus 6 lots of x. Now what I want to do is collect all the x's on the left and all the numbers on the right so that I can solve that. So let's think about what's going to stay and what's going to move. So the 27, that's going to move. The minus 9x will stay, equals 26 is going to stay, and this minus 6x, that's going to move. Okay, so the minus 9x is going to stay where it is. Remember, that minus belongs with this 9x. It doesn't belong with the 27, so that goes with the number after it. Here, if I'm moving the negative 6x across, if it was a minus 6x on one side, when I move it across the equals, it becomes the opposite, which is plus 6x. Then leave my equals, and my 26 is not moving anywhere, it's staying where it is. But this 27, this is a positive number, and when I move a positive number across, it's going to change from positive to negative. So that's going to become minus 27. Getting closer to the end now, I need to just combine these together now. So minus 9 lots of x plus 6 lots of x. So think about your number line there. If I'm at negative 9 and I'm adding on 6, that's going to take me to negative 3. So that's going to be minus 3 lots of x. And 26 take away 27. So again, think of your number line. If I'm at 26, I'm going back by 27 places. Then I'm going to go back one more from 0, so that's going to take me to negative 1. The last thing I need to do, I want to get x by itself, so I need to get rid of the number in front. So this is doing minus 3 times x. We want to get rid of that minus 3, and the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 3, because that's the whole thing I want to get rid of, is that whole negative 3. So those will cancel to leave me with x equals, so the numbers I've got is 1 over 3, negative divided by negative, It's the same kind of thing like we had here. Negative times a negative gives me a positive. Negative divided by a negative also gives me a positive. So that means the answer is going to be x equals 1/3.